this is one of these few coins. They are expensive, okay? If you go to like Petco or PetSmart, you're paying like $5 for one coin.
You wanna see me in a shiny flash? You got to sell a pretty face. Got us something dope, hurt you mad. I don't really wanna understand. Got a missile aim, got a pretty face.
I miss the y'all. Currently for 12 mediums, so that's not a great price compared to the other bugs, but hey, it's a true bug. You don't have to get them all the time. Worms can also grow incredibly fast within days, so their shelf life is a matter of like a week before they're gonna get way too big to feed to your human. For this reason, I don't recommend feeding them to your human unless your human is at least 6 months old, because the worms are just gonna get way too big, way too fast. Also, can we just talk about hormone poop for a second? So if you didn't know, you're supposed to store in the hormone container upside down, so that the lid is actually on the bottom and the food is at the top, just so the poop will fall down, and then you open the lid and the poop will fall out. It's still so incredibly messy to do a hormone poop, and then just pooping so much because they're growing so fast. So I'm also going to drop in some price just because of the messiness. Pro tip though, if you run out of hormone food, you can just leave them points. But it gives you over, the next days. The last thing I mentioned on the call is that they are.
Tell Fat Man turn that heat up. Oh shit, I forgot all about this, man. I be forgetting this. Hey, one time I got this, you throw the things at it and you get it and it shows your person.
That being said,
Where we going?
6 out of 10 for their ratings. The last one we're going to talk about is probably the most popular one you can possibly get, mealworms. That makes them easily available. You can find them at any health shop, Petco PetSmart. You can find them.
Where y'all trying to go? Market.
Bug, like I said, a tree bug, but they have, what was it, 19%?
You wanna go, little bro?
13% fat. Oh, and meal that
bro.
And
So
so,
wherever I
2
would go,
pounds of protein, but a good considerable amount of fat. The thing with mealworms is like high levels of protein. And so we want to avoid that. There are rumors that mealworms will eat through your reptiles. That is a total myth, not something that you're have to worry about. Everything in moderation. If you do decide to put mealworms into your diet, nothing wrong with that. We just want to avoid feeding exclusively mealworms, just like how we want to avoid feeding exclusively superworms, blackworms, hornworms, and for those 2 bugs that add them in as variety. Everything but choose to feed other great bugs that you can spend.
Shit, we got a team here.
Bugs, and I just choose not to feed mealworms, but they're totally
Yeah, we're cooked, bro.
I just want to be
I'm a killer.
nutrition and everything else. One other pro though for mealworms is that they are super cheap. I was looking around online, you could get 100 mealworms for $3. Box loader by larva, I think it was like 100 for like $4 or $5. So the worms are definitely can be a good bang for your buck option, especially when you're not getting hormones. Because those are expensive. So that being said, I'm gonna give mealworms a 4 out of 10 as a feeder option. Now, all these rankings are very subjective. They are 100% subjective. They're just my opinion based on my experience and observations with bugs. The gist of it is make sure that you feed your humans a variety of bugs. One thing I just wanted to touch on is flies. We briefly touched about black soldier fly larvae, but you could also feed blue bottle flies or green bottle flies to your chameleons. Those are great enrichment. And again, I don't know the nutrition of flies. I don't feed them for the value of the nutrition. I feed them as an enrichment opportunity, something fun for my chameleon to do. So there you guys have it. We talked a lot about bugs and the nutrition, shelf life, the cost of them. The gist of it is though, feed your plant for life, and do the best. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Any questions or comments down below, feel free to subscribe so you know when I post a new video.
Like to assist with you. The other team right there, shooting at me, marked them.
Do viewers Q&A or your video ranking the bugs on spelling it. So if you haven't already, check that out. Feel free to follow Neptune on all my plans on social media.
I need a fucking scope, bro.
And thank you in advance to anyone who chooses to shop in my affiliate links. Much appreciated. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.
Fuck you shoot me for, nigga. He coming.
So places like Florida and Canada, that being said, I'm going to be going to give This is going to be the holy grail of chameleon videos. This is a panther chameleon hair dye video. I'm so excited to do this video for you guys. I have hundreds of videos on my channel already. So if there's any question about this video specifically on supplements or lotion used for bug safety, I have individual videos for all of them. This is going to be an all-in-one overall.
Dropped him.
So,
Killed him.
let's get into the video.
Did you get the teammate? Oh no, he's still over there. My bad, my bad.
Veiled would be right up there with number 1 and 2 with the panther chameleon. I personally have 2 panther chameleons. I have Neptune and I have Venus. Both panther chameleons, they come in a variety of colors. We call these locales, and this is the part of
Somebody shooting at us.
region of Madagascar
They
that
suck.
the chameleons originate from. And those different regions, those different locales are indicative of the colors that the chameleons will have. I don't know what the right way to pronounce these locales are, but Neptune and Venus are
I just need a scope, bro.
and below, people say it differently. Madagascar, their ancestry is, so that's the locale that my chameleons are. I get asked a lot how to tell the difference between a male and a female. Now, if you've watched my veiled chameleon care guide or any of those videos, then you know veils you can tell from the tuft spurs on their back foot. But that doesn't work for a panther chameleon. They don't have tuft spurs. So the way that you can tell a male or a female depends on how old they are. If you have an adult or even a juvenile panther chameleon, you can tell immediately from the colorations because the males are going to have bright, vibrant colors, the reds, yellows, greens, blues, purples. Those are the colors. Females are typically more purple on these things like that. So you can very easily tell adult chameleons at first. You can also tell by their size the males are significantly larger than the females. So if you have a baby chameleon, or if you have a little skirt and you don't know if it's a male or female. So I will try to explain it, but honestly, it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to train your eyes, so to speak, on how to tell, and that's because we're looking for what's called a hemipenal bulge, and that's going to be at the base of the tail. You'll see the little slit while the poop and business comes out right behind that. If there's a slight bulge, that is going to be in male panther chameleons. That's where the boy parts, the male parts, the hemipenes, all that good stuff lives. And when you have a female, it's going to be flat. If she's not going to have the hemipenal bulge. It's so subtle and it's going to be so difficult if you're not used to looking at baby panther chameleons. Once you learn it though, you can very easily point out a male or female, but that's how you tell, and if you're not sure, always check with your breeder. And speaking of breeder, it's always a good idea to purchase from a reputable breeder. Now,
I need a scope, man.
in the chain stores, Costco, PetSmart, things like that, they don't usually sell panther chameleons. They certainly can, they certainly will. Most often they see real chameleons. But with panther chameleons, it's so important to purchase.
Hell yeah.
Breeder. I do have an entire video on how to find a good breeder, so I'll be sure to link that and you can check that out if that's something you're interested in. Now we're going to dive into the hair of a panther chameleon. And before we get into it, I just want to say 2 things. One, make sure you get everything set up beforehand. Now, if you impulse purchase or you're gifted a chameleon and now you're scrambling, obviously you can't do that. But if you're watching this video ahead of time, try to get everything set up beforehand. Get your lights, your mixtures, everything going before you even bring your chameleon home so make sure everything's good to go. The second thing I want to call is I do offer chameleon kits. So if you're in the research stage and you're getting overwhelmed by all the different options and all the different things you can buy for your chameleon, I do have this very nice little bundle of a chameleon kit that you can check out as well. Those are available on my website, next week. Okay, so when we're talking about chameleon care, first thing we're going to talk about is the enclosure. So behind me, you'll see that my enclosures are 2 feet wide, 2 feet deep, and 4 foot tall. This is the minimum enclosure size recommendation for a panther chameleon, both male and female. Sometimes you'll see care guides that say females can be in a 18, 36-inch tall enclosure. My personal opinion, and what I personally do, is I like my chameleons 24-inch enclosure. Reason being is Jesus is the entire space, I promise you. You also have to have a leg for a female, a rib cat, so you have room for that. You can have enough room, you can have enclosure, and also have enough space, even if you're in a couple of areas that you have. So, that's my circulation. You can always have a bigger polarized screen glass PVC, which is best. Really, there are all different options for what you use to provide your field what you need in your environment. The reason I'm saying that is if you live somewhere like Florida, that's like obviously like really humid, then maybe you use a screen glass. Or if you live somewhere super dry like Colorado or Utah or something, maybe see a culture like hybrid. It's not solid size, it's a better option because I don't help with the so it's really difficult for me to say, use this one, then use this one, use this one. It really depends on your environment. Some people have a little bit higher requirements inside, especially some maybe PVC is a good option. There isn't a PVC in other terrains, green enclosures. I use both, they're both great. We just want to make sure that we have enough airflow, circulation, and screen top on those enclosures. And we always want to make sure that we raise those enclosures up off the ground and on the border, which means we have so they can sit
Shit, somebody shoot it.
high off the ground. So we can use it all real estate, like people, I personally use large shelves that are plastic with those sections during out the water. I do have this thing on my website and it's sort of in the center yourself, but either way, you gotta find some sort of way to raise your enclosure up to make it less nice and safe. So a big thing with chameleon care is lighting. We've got 2 lights. Well, 3 lights. Let's just start with the first one. We're going to talk about your heat bulb. So chameleons are cold-blooded, which means they need an external heat source in order to stay warm. Not only to stay warm, but also to digest their food, bask, and overall just be nice and healthy. So we have that basking bulb, that heat bulb, to provide the temperature gradient. So we have one warmer part of the enclosure, and as you go down to the bottom of the enclosure, it's just going to naturally be cooler. So we want that warm area to be around 80 degrees Fahrenheit for a female panther chameleon, and around 85 degrees Fahrenheit for a male chameleon. The females have a slightly lower temperature requirement to help them produce fewer eggs, and again, we'll get into the egg laying process a little bit later into the video. But that's going to be that branch that's going to be closest to the heat bulb. They want to be about 4 to 5 inches. Now that distance is going to vary because it depends on what heat bulb you use in your fixture. So I recommend typically a 50 to 65 watt heat bulb. The reason why there's a little bit of variance because again, it totally depends on your environment. Maybe your home is super cold, maybe it's super warm, maybe your basking branch is a little further, a little closer.
Mark where they at,
All
you see
good
them.
to develop multiple options, multiple tools to give us the ranges that we need. You can measure this basking temperature with some sort of thermometer. Some people have visual thermometers, that's what you can really hit. They also purchase a thermal temperature gun. Just make sure that when you're measuring that temperature, you're maybe a couple inches above the range because you have to factor in the flow of the heat. So you don't want them to get too close to the heat bulb because they will burn themselves, thermal burn, smoke can get pretty nasty. Know that if they push something hot and pull back that's too hot, please don't do that. They will unfortunately just sit there and roast and burn themselves, so it's up to us to ensure that their temperatures are correct. So we want that 80 degrees at the top, and as you work our way down to the bottom, you really need to right down to about 7 degrees at the bottom. So 70s in the middle, and then 80-ish at the top of your floor. Does get a thermal burn. If it's really bad, then you want to use that for some construction barbecue.
Storm.
Just use any storm that doesn't have any thermals in it. You also want to make sure that the heat bulb that you use is the right heat bulb. Use the right one. You do not use red heat bulbs, purple heat bulbs, any color bulbs inside. You also want to make sure that all lights, LED, heat bulb, plant light, all of them, all lights are on at night. So we make sure that really darkness. If you have LED lights, maybe sitting in the room, or maybe you've got your PC next to your music player or TV, those are usually okay. Worst case, when you come to get something that you're closer to like privacy, and the temperatures we're aiming for at night is 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which typically hovers around those temperatures. If you're in an instance where you're using the lower 60 degrees Fahrenheit, then you're close to 75 degrees. You can hear that's option for that for any lights that you can operate. Now, the big hole, the one that's very confusing, that's super important to get right, is your
Over here, you do
now it's going to be the long skinny UV that you see on top of the filters. If you bought the human chameleon kit, then not so good classic replacement. What you want is a T5 linear UV bulb. Now, there's two types of linear UV bulbs. There's the T5 and the T8. What you want is the T5. The T5 is the more technology and more efficient and more forever to closure. And the older technology, T8. The T5 is a little bit skinny, and the T8 is a little bit thicker. Would you use the T8? Absolutely.
Hello?
My recommendation is to use the T5 for
Hello? Hello? Yeah, I'm on live. What's up? I'm on live. What's up? Nigga, that was earlier. I just seen if you got your car. I wanted to see it. That was all.
Yeah, mom's on her way over there.
Alright.
Alright.
Man, who the fuck shouted us? Oh, that was you. Let me get my attention.
Like I said earlier, all lights are off at night, so please keep in mind that just because your UV turns on does not mean that's putting off enough UVB. So if you're reticent UVB bulb, then you do replace every 6 months, and then your Arcadia bulb, and then you do replace every 12 months. Now, if you have a solar meter, which is a device you can use to measure the UV index.
Fuck, that wasn't even no fucking
And
what's.
then you can actually use your bulbs longer. You'll also hear a representative 2.0 and an Arcadia 12%. Those I think you can use if you do own a solar meter because then you can measure the correct distances for your UV bulb and your branches to ensure that the plant is in your safe ranges. Now, if you don't have a solar meter, I'm going to caution you against using the representative 2.0 or the Arcadia 12%. You'll get more UVB from the 5.0 than the 6%, and then you can potentially get into too much UVB in your community. Solar meters are like $100, so I fully understand if that's not in your budget. So then my recommendation is to be a little more conservative and stick with that 5.0 or 6%. And like I mentioned, you know, this is
Shit.
videos just on these individual topics, so if you want to find out about UVB, you'll pick up that. Third bulb I want to talk about is your pink LED light. Now, usually we say that these are optional, but I'll be honest, as I've been in this hobby longer and longer, and I've been talking to more of you guys and more of you guys, I'm leaning towards your pink LED light being less optional and more of a requirement. Now, optional in that it's not necessary for the health of your community. Your community's health is not dependent on that LED light. So, we're bottom budget, you know, just trying to make these changes quickly because maybe not the wrong stuff. Prioritize being important to people with an LED light. Or if you're doing your research thing, I highly encourage you to check out their LED light because they are a game changer. When we're working with 4.2 enclosure, it can be really difficult to try to keep live planes inside this enclosure when it's so dark at the bottom. So these pink LED lights are exactly for that reason to keep your planes alive, dry, and nice and healthy. There's different pink LEDs out there that are available to you to choose from. I have a few listed on my shopping list, so feel free to check those out on my website. I mentioned that your lights should be off at night, so the recommendation is to have the lights on for 12 hours and off for 12 hours. So that would be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 8:30 to 8:30 p.m. Just try to keep things similar to what the national science cycle is. So you don't want to do like 11 a.m. and then 11 p.m. Just try to keep it consistent. Okay, so we've got lights all situated, so now let's move on to humidity. So humidity is the moisture or water content in the air. It's important when it comes to communities. And so with a chemical plant, you're looking at 50 to 60% humidity. So the way you measure this is with a tool called a hygrometer, and this is a device that measures your humidity. I'm going to recommend you use a visual hygrometer versus those analog little dial ones. Those are not as visual ones. Most hygrometers are not waterproof, so it's not something you can put in a TV enclosure. Likely it's going to get wet through the windows, covers, all of this stuff. So what I like to do is I take my hygrometer, I put it into the enclosure in the upper, middle, and lower regions. Give it a few minutes until the number plateaus, so the reading in the upper and the lower regions, and then take it out. And then the next day, and however many times you want to measure it, you can do that. And then over time, I'll get a nice baseline, and then you'll know how to adjust your receipt all of those activities levels for
Oh shit.
screw an extra product, and also, like I mentioned earlier, what type of enclosure that you use. So a screen enclosure is going to have more airflow, so the humidity and the moisture and air will be able to get out and in of the enclosure much easier than a hybrid enclosure, something that's got solid sides, where it's not going to be able to sit and keep it inside. And again, spraying, putting on the wall, I have a discount code from 1910 with the company called backdrops.com. Where they offer custom vinyl backgrounds and you have those too. Now, how often you miss is also going to depend on your community in your administrative response. The general recommendation is to use 2 times a day for 2 to 4 minutes. Once in the morning before the lights turn on, and once in the evening after the lights turn on. The reason for this is because at nighttime we actually want a spike in humidity. We're going to have our daytime humidity. At nighttime we're looking for 70% more humidity. So having that evening spike will help keep the humidity up throughout the night. Now if you're struggling with that, then you can actually use a thermometer, which you can use at nighttime.
Right next to us, bro.
And most people use it for intervals, and that's to keep that 70% or higher humidity at nighttime. Now foggers should never be used during the daytime. What we want is for the enclosure to dry out during the daytime, and then the humidity will have that dry out during the daytime, up at night, dry out during the evening. So you want to have like hot inside out. Another tool we use for refrigeration is super easy to take a plastic container, rinse it out, clean it out, poke a hole in the bottom, fill it up with water, and then
Fuck. Caught me on a fucking reload, man. Wow.
You wanna see me in a shiny flash? You got to sell a pretty, pretty face. Got something dope, hurt you mad. I don't really wanna understand. Got a missile aim, got a pretty face. How birthday with a fake. I don't like that, you heard me say. Repeat again.
I'll be right back.